afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting and everything amazing Propagandacast. Me, your host, Imperial Dane, the one, the only master of propaganda, the only sanctioned source of communist entertainment. Here with my co-host, Lord Commissar Bessel, Commissar of Cuddles, to assist me by, I don't know, being a cat, I guess, which is not really a big role when it comes to casting, but I guess I won't be viciously assaulted by mice. If that was ever to transpire, I would be safe with Basil by my side. In the north, we got HelpingHans fighting for the Soviet Union, socialism, the 10th Tank Corps, ready to strike through the fascist lines held here by Bulat and the fatherland, the Wehrmacht. Taking on the role here of the 328th Infantry Division with Lightning War Doctrine Triple Infantry, we got Urban Defense, Airborne Troops, and Defensive Tactics there for Hans Triple Infantry. Worth noting is that you got sort of a bit of overlapping here with two Doctrine having light anti-tank guns, and two of them having access to Dishka heavy machine guns as well. Oh, I thought that one also had it. Oh, it does. So yeah, that's a bit of an interesting series of overlaps there doctrinally. We got a double conscript there for Hans. Grenadier MG42 start there for Bulat. Grenadier setting out here straight for the car point as Hans is feverishly trying to dig in there. And of course, we can't gain the sort of dug in position there. He can already begin somewhat controlling the flow of the battle. So it does make somewhat sense of trying to get an early hand on it, as it will make it a bit hard for Bulat to move about in the early game. Note, by the way, Bulat is splitting up here west and east. We might be seeing a unit moving from the south to assist the Grenadiers in the centre. Grenadiers are slowly winning this engagement. Got a few lucky shots in there. More conscripts out here for HelpingHans. East side, there we got conscripts moving up. On the west side, we got engineers moving in. They'll be clashing with the pioneers. Due to the terrain, I mean, depending on where they meet, the pioneers could easily win this. The only situation when the engineers win is if they meet around here and the engineers get into the house first. But if they meet around here, the pioneers should overall have that engagement won. Grenadiers moving up, and they got the MG42. They're sitting up. Oh, not quite well enough there for Bulat to avoid the MG42. Hans quickly cracks the whip, then orders an hoorah. Casting the MG42 in a bit off spot. They've got Grenadiers moving into assist, but one squad is all being routed here. Setting up again. Hans has no Molotovs in the early game, so this makes it a bit safer to do this. Allows him to stop the conscript squad there. But Hans, of course, moving up the other conscript squad that already beaten back. He first Grenadier squad up behind the MG42. He might have a chance here. There's going to be a bit close and dies here for Bulat. The support gun is backed up with the Grenadiers. Should have a chance against the conscripts, but there's also a chance the MG42 gets wiped out before Hans is forced away. Got the northern fuel engineers holding up inside the building, so bit of a stand-up. No, he's moving ahead then. Maybe have a chance now there. Might have a chance now there. Basil slightly going about there, it seems. Yep. Need to be careful he doesn't block out my voice by getting in front of my head. And now he's claimed my left arm as his domain for the time being. Grenadiers assaulting the conscripts. Grenadiers moving to assist against the conscripts there. Bit of a heavier skirmish there. MG42 reinforcing. Good to go. Grenadiers squad need to retreat soon. We got the other one here moving for the eastern fuel points. Right now, Bulat is sort of reasonably control the fuel points over Hans. So Hans is certainly fighting back here for the western one. Pioneers moving in. Could immediately move in to contest this, but apparently decided the victory point was more important, it would seem. And leaving the low health Grenadiers grab the center victory point. Another squad heading northwards. A lot of action here going on between these two players. Pioneers back in the building to deny it to Hans. Now here, conscripts might soon clash with the Grenadiers. We got early Molotovs up there for Hans, but early, but not too late either. Certainly giving his men the ability to flash out Bulat. They have any cover, deny him buildings, and of course punish any machine guns aren't quite well set up. One squad there being dealt with, but of course there's the other squad moving on the flank. This of course tells Bulat Hans has tech for Molotovs. We'll have to see how Bulat reacts to this. I mean, I'm guessing he's taking up fast, in which case fast Panzer Grenadiers can put some pressure on the conscripts, and of course G43 Grenadiers may also help a bit. And the South Grenadiers push back the conscripts quite nicely there. A Molotov attempt did not quite pan out there for Hans and his bold men of the 10th Tank Corps there. Continues pursuing the Grenadiers here, forcing retreat. Pioneers falling back for now. Heading for the western fuel point. Back here, bunker up for Bulat. Will soon be able to provide healing for his men. Sandbags up here by the point there, forming up a strong point, which is going to be difficult there for Bulat to easily push back, but that's some heavy firepower. Southern victory point being seized. More conscripts moving in there. Back in Hans's base, we got the Molotovs, but nothing else. I'm guessing he might be setting up next here for the field infirmary, if he can find the manpower for it. Bunker up, check done. G43 is also unlocked, and at least one upgrade there's happening for Bulat and for the fatherland. In fact, can soon upgrade another squad with the G43s, and there we go. Doppelgewehr 43. Conscript up north, fuel point there. going back and forming. Both players, you might notice as well, they of course want the centre. They're putting most of their effort there on the fuel points, and so obviously theirs are what matters a great degree more than just the centre victory point, which is nice for sort of controlling flow of the battle, but without fuel, and your opponent has both fuel points, you're currently going to get buried beneath tanks, at which point it's not going to matter much. There's always the thing you have to like balance. Grenadiers there being routed. Others setting up. Machine gun defense here. Need to be careful about getting too defensive already in the early game versus the Soviets. Want to use machine gun actively to try and win engagements, to be honest. And so far, Bulat might be getting a bit too overly cautious. Slightly adjusting here. Gonna see if Basil likes that. Grenadiers there pursuing the conscripts. And we got HelpingHans with defensive doctrine. Not doctrine you see a lot of, to be honest, in 1 versus 1s. Or 2 versus 2s. But certainly a surprise there from Hans that he does go for defensive. Not a wildly conventional pick. Grenadiers moving ahead. They of course need to be sort of staying at a safe distance so they're getting Molotoved. Bal should have a good chance with the conscripts. Hans still not taking up. He's of course going here for an early Dishka to put pressure there on Bulat's infantry, and of course helps counter any sort of light vehicles like the 2-2 if you can catch it with the armor-piercing rounds. So that'll be quite effective. Up north here, point being seized. Basil apparently was not quite happy about my slight changing seating. So I could get a bit closer to the screen and the microphone. I do apologise. Grenadiers up close here. Shots fired. Somebody should have a good chance, but there you go. Surprise Dishka. Quickly pushes back the Grenadiers with Jurgen. In fact, getting the biggest surprise of us all as his chase is completely punctured. 2-2 moving out there for Bulat should help put pressure on Hans's infantry. Also worth noting, Hans has gone for anti-tank grenade. In fact, he's yet to go for an field infirmer. That man's going to happen soon. This also means once he's got the tank command up, eventually he can actually go for 7-man conscripts fast. And in fact, it might be what Hans is planning for here. Basically going for a much heavier Soviet sort of early game, with utilising sort of light support weapons to sort of help compensate, and then sort of push for 7-man conscripts much faster here versus Bulat. From north, the anti-tank grenades go for the 2-2. We got Panzer Grenadier on the way there for Bulat. A very solid pick. And we got another discount here. Hans committing to a lot of Soviet heavy machine guns, which was quite some service after the war as well. It would later be replaced by another heavy machine gun, but even then I think it still sees some usage today. At least for some ex-Soviet countries. Fun fact. Panzer Grenadier setting up. He's also going for G-53s on them. I'm not entirely sure that's the best pick. In particular on the map with closer quarters, plus there's a lot of conscripts. I feel like just keeping the assault rifle there would be the better pick personally, but that's just me. Also been some times I've seen any sort of Wehrmacht players go for G-53s and their Panzer Grenadiers. There was sort of a slight time it's like, yeah, everyone's going for it, and then it was like, hang on, this isn't that great anyways, and I kind of need the assault rifles. So there's been a bit of a rollback there, but of course, as you can see, there's still players going for it, so it's not like it's completely out of, so to say, fashion, but it's starting to look a bit old. Panzer's moving up here, getting a quick kill there. Up close, of course, the G-43s do perform less well than their assault rifles. So, I mean, not really again sort of great, because there's not really a lot of situations you can then use the G-43s fully at long range anyways for the Panzer Grenadiers a lot of the time. So, I mean, I kind of feel like, whereas again with the Grenadiers, the G-43s actually help with the DPS up close, pretty much at all ranges. For the Panzer Grenadiers, you actually like cut down the short range, and that's kind of again where I feel like it may not be quite as great an upgrade there. But we'll see, we'll see. There's always room to be proven wrong and be surprised. Back here, the troops reinforcing these ship reinforcing. Certainly for Bulat right now, trying to take up fast could be a pretty good idea there versus Hans. I mean, there's been a bit of fuel harassment, but also with the Hans pretty much signaling. Well, he's actually not signaling it yet. I don't think he hasn't popped yet an anti-tank grenade in the troop too, so Bulat may not know this. But you were aware that Hans is actually, committing to such a build. I mean, rushing out a fast Austrian, for example, could be really good versus HelpingHans, as long as he doesn't throw away the Austrian, because, I mean, 7-man conscript's great, but versus an Austrian, he just presents more targets and more ways to bleed him on manpower. It is worth noting, I mean, we're almost at the 10-minute mark, and Hans so far, thanks to defensive and just aggressive plays, and actually able to just not build up at all. But he has finally gotten the field infirmary up as well. Dishka, they're routing this up east. North here, 2-2 left to fend for itself. Grenadiers moving up, of course, need to be careful about that Dishka heavy machine gun. Pack 40 for Bulat. He's clearly worried about Hans rushing out T-70 Bezen, which is not a bad worry at all. But, I mean, rushing ahead for fast armor, I think, would be a pretty good idea for Bulat nonetheless. And of course, the Pack 40 will allow him to do it more safely, knowing that if he does get hit by T-74, he's ready for it. He's still got the Pack 40 to back him up. We've got the support company up here for Helping Hands, opens up for field guns and whatnot. Mortars as well, which would of course make it harder for Bulat to use some of his support weapons more effectively. Machine gun is being used fairly defensively, I think a bit too passively for my taste. As the Venom, I always feel like you need to use the machine gun a bit more actively to win engagements, but so far Bulat is being much more cautious with his MG42. Probably worried about Hans's flanking ability and whatnot, in which case he could of course quickly lose the machine gun. There you go, take up here at the 10-minute mark for Bulat, and for the 328th Infantry Division being slowly reinforced by a nearby Panzer Division, the 17th. Let's say 16th. Counter coming up by there, Panzer there with G for the feast, 3 kills so far. When the counter there, we got mines down here for Bulat. That's a very good idea there, could catch up any further vehicles. Again, it highlights Bulat is definitely concerned about a T-70 out here from Helping Hands. He is definitely concerned, like he's trying his best to avoid getting overwhelmed by T-70, since while he's certainly in many ways looking good, a fast T-70 could quickly undermine any progress made by Bulat and the German army. Machine gun remains very passive. Too lightly damaged. Take up almost done. Again, then build the Supomo core and again get out a relatively fast Ostwind here versus Helping Hands. From these slow skirmishing out with the conscripts, heavy car versus light, the G for the fees, and maybe a rifleman could swing the fight then in favour of Bulat. Center point being grabbed here by the Dishka, using the sandbags there laid down by Hans successfully by finally. Panzer there standing about. Slow pressure, we got the conscript coming in there, more grenadiers coming out there for Bulat as well. Rifle grenade all flung in the general direction, the conscript doesn't quite hit grenadiers, taking further casualties there. Molotovs out. And with all the sandbags and digging in that Hans is doing a mortar, could be a good investment for Bulat, to be honest. Could be a good investment. Plus the smoke machine wouldn't hurt either. We got the T-70 away there for Helping Hands and the 10th Tank Corps. Back here, troops healing, reinforcing. Supomo Corps still not quite happening. MG42, they're slightly moving ahead now, engaging the engineers for the center victory point, though in heavy cover. They're going to be very difficult for him to dig out. Still, Bulat having a decent amount of map control here versus Hans, though Hans is certainly looking more and more solid thanks to the double Dishkas and Bulat's slightly cautious response. But we got the T-70 almost done there. Supomo Corps is also going up, and Bulat is roughly less than a minute away then from getting out the Ostwind. I mean, he could also go for the Panzer IV, but an Ostwind would just have more immediate impact. Will Hans by the way be upgrading here for mobilized reserves? I mean, he's a bit short on resources, but it's not going to be that much in the end. And then, of course, once it gets going, he really gets going. We'll have to see there. Big push in the north, we got Panzer there. Large Soviet assault, flamethrowers, conscripts, and possibly a few Molotovs as well, just to add injury to insult. Insult to injury, not the other way around. Gunners versus the Dishka, heavy machine gun there, plummeting away with heavy fire. We got conscript moving there for the fuel point there, even as the T-70 is going to cover, defend Bulat there and prevent him from grabbing the eastern fuel point. 2-2 being repaired. Explosion goes off, Gunners being reinforced heal, Panzer house on the T-70 in the east, but the Gunners will have to fall back. Bulat is quickly conceding a lot of ground. Of course, the Ostwind will help a lot since Hans has no anti-tank weapons. I mean, he's got the anti-tank grenades, but very crucially, he's got no anti-tank guns. So we'll have to respond in some way to the Ostwind. It will be a delayed response, which will, of course, give the Ostwind more chance to do more damage instead to Hans. So we'll have to see, of course, how he makes use of it. I mean, a poorly handled Ostwind could still end up, not doing a lot, but if he sort of makes really good use of it, it could really turn the game against Hans. Ostwind almost done there for Bulat. Looking to harass bait up in the north. Gunners moving in. Flak Panzer almost done. There we go. Good to go. Effects bereit. Flamethrower pioneers help flash out the conscripts. Also a good pick there. Looks like he's not actually going for a fast mobilized reserve. That's kind of what I'd figure with the way his strategy sort of seemingly was going. But I guess either Hans has forgotten about it, just figuring it isn't worth it at the moment. It was just never part of it. But anyways, Ostwind there, engaging the conscripts quite aggressively, and using the retreat path. I don't think he's have a chance of getting a wipe here though. If you move the Austrian perhaps slightly different, I think there'd be a better chance. I suppose it's not as impossible, but it's all looking slim. And there you go. Hans, in response to the Austrian, of course, is now going for the S-6M because he's got nothing else. I mean, he can't, you know, hope to stall out for a tank against this. He's got no anti-tank guns. I mean, he could try and go up for the field gun, but even then that might run into some issues. So the Austrian here is definitely having an interesting response than Hans. I mean, you rarely see the S-6M, but in response to the fast Austrian, it does make sense. Though, of course, if the Austrian flanks the S-6M, it's kind of toast. Worth keeping in mind. We got march in the south from Hans to protect against harassment. Very good. Back forward, the Austrian moving up towards the centre. And there we go. Got the S-6M out. A rare sighting in any Communist 2 battlefield nowadays. There you go. Constable caught out in the open there. Flak panzer tank through them. Bulat probably should consider Stuck to help counter the S-6 then to back up his Austrian. He could also try and hope for the Pack 40 to catch it, but the S-6 is a very slippery and greasy little thing, so it could theoretically try and dodge the Pack 40 there and evade it. Of course, there's also another thing to the S-6M which could also make it a bit extra effective. You really don't see them a lot, so there's a good chance that the Bulat is completely not expecting it in the slightest, which could cost him his Austrian if he underestimates Hans' response. Building being blasted apart, big push there. Good hit for the S-6M. Pack 40 landing a nice hit there. Small chance of taking it out of there, but at the same time I can't rush it with the Austrian. Ooh, almost got it already. Comes with they're going to rush, they're going to hit with anti-tank grenades. S-6M escapes. Lucky there for Hans. Need to pull the pack out of there before it gets overwhelmed by infantry, which would of course be pretty bad for Bulat. Still, the Austrian so far, I would say, has paid off nicely here for him. 4 kills halfway to Ensigns 1. The SK machine gun crew getting obliterated by the Flak Panzer Panzers moving in as well. Also adding G for the face to them. Small chance of taking out the heavy machine gun, the Pack 40 moving out. Need to be careful not to extend here. Bulat, need to be careful. 4-6. S-6 almost good to go there. Austrian moving up further ahead, need to be careful. One anti-tank grenade could cost him it. Oh dear, yeah. Bulat there, I think, pushes luck too far and gets hit with an anti-tank grenade right in front of the S-6. Just as his other force being pushed back here, that was definitely Bulat there making a very poor call versus HelpingHans, and now HelpingHans is going to visit him with the wrath of Stalin. That was definitely a bad call there by far by Bulat. I can understand why he could take out the S-6 like that. Great, that could be a GG moment, but instead he'd rather manage to toss away whatever advantage he had there with the fast Austrians against HelpingHans. The T-70 is down, the S-6 might still survive, and he's still fighting about hard here and could get a wipe there, but there's also every chance he doesn't. And his Pack 40 there is quite exposed. So it's clearly a Bulat is, I think, trying to just deliver a closing blow there to Hans and maybe just sort of win the fight here and now, and certainly if it pays off, great, but it's always these situations you have to ask yourself, well, what happens if it doesn't work out and, you know, it just falls flat? Do I then give my opponent a chance to come back or even allow him to win the game? And in this regard, I feel like Bulat may not quite consider the risks fully. But we'll see. Panzers then moving ahead. 9 kills and 2 kills, close to 2 on one of the squads there. Another piece of armor right now would be a good idea there for Bulat. Stug would be great versus the S-6 and T-70. They could also have another Austrian to go for more Stugs. Hans so far does not seem to be... Oh, yeah, not interested in mobilized reserves, which is a bit interesting again. But like, if it was now part of his plan, then fair enough. Then again, with all the manpower bleeding he's already suffering, he may feel like he does need to, like, pile more on it. Going for the southern point there, going to leave Salman to get surprisingly unscathed away there from encounter with a flare mine. Counterpulling straight to the Grenadiers there. H-6 then moving ahead. Pioneer also moving forwards. And up here we got MD4 with the conscripts holding them down there with heavy fire. Almost got the Sun Victory point. We got a Panzer 4 there for Bulat. The Panzerkampfwagen 4. Panzer's yet to further check up. Not really doing much else. H-6 is close to Victory 2. That's definitely paying off there nicely for him. Grenadiers routed violently and vigorously there by HelpingHans. Centre Victor holding siege. We've got 377 versus 295. Machine gun still feel like is being used a bit passively there compared to feel like Hans is doing a much greater job with his disc, and of course it does help that the disc is much more mobile than the MU-42. But even then, I mean, I don't think that's much of an excuse there for Bulat to play his MU-42 as passively being, oh dear, bunched up there. Bit of mistake, and HelpingHans saw the opportunity and immediately tried to swat it down there with the Isshin 6 barrage ability. Nice call there by Hans in this case, a bit of bad RNG, prevent him from getting, like, you know, an amazing hit, but even then, quite painful. Trying to take out the 2-2 there with the Isshin 6M, but doesn't quite pay off. Nice use of the tracking ability, by the way. Bit of a low ability, to be honest. So thumbs up there to Hans. Back here, troops reinforcing. Panther ready, charging that one ahead. Need to be careful. Seems like Bulat might still be feeling like he's almost got this one and is just making a lot of short-term decisions the way he's playing out that petrol. He did get the T-70 though, so that's a small win, but still need to be careful not to toss away too much here. He's also got one set of super close air support ready. Now there's a lot to call in there. Hans is finally going for the mechanized armor company. Well, either way, he can end up upgrading the conscripts. So, I mean, he wants it, he'll go for it, but if he doesn't, he won't, I guess. There you go. Will he be actually does it or not? Big push here, Panzer doing what they can. Got 19 kills, 20 kills. Slowly murdering the conscripts here. Panzer IV joining in with his machine guns. Slaughtering the Marxists. Got the Isshin 6 moving up there. We actually need 2 T-54s from 6 weather HelpingHans. Of North Victory Point there being seized by the other Panzer Grenadier squad heading for the south as well. Good spread there by Bulat. The Isshin 6 is quick to fall back as its infantry screen is vanishing. Bring out the Pack 40, half fate eventually need 2. Panther 4 on the hunt here. And then it's not. T-54 from 6 out. Bulat really needs to be careful of that Panther 4. I mean, he basically charged in there with no real support, meaning that hit a mine. That could be really bad for Bulat. But otherwise, he's actually in control of most of the map there. Hans playing conservatively, I think. Waiting to build up for a good strike here against Bulat. Probably the best call there by Hans, to be honest. We'll never see how he tries to break out of this, because right now Bulat's got sort of the pretty tight hold. Plus, he's got two close air support still as well to help deal with sort of any armor push. But there you go. Hans striking southwards, southeast. Going for a pretty deep swing there against Bulat. And also looking to isolate any sort of murder any isolated units. It's a very good play there by Hans. And there you go, Watch 1 Grenadier squad. Good play there by Hans. Instead of looking to sort of deliver a decisive blow, he's just going to destroy Bulat in detail. He's slowly building that advantage. Requires a bit more of a patient player with a bit of a more oversight against his opponent. That so far seems panning out there maybe. It also seems to causing Bulat to get a bit frightened again, turning his forces as well to avoid such a fate, but that only concedes more ground than to Hans. So that's definitely having some impacts there on Bulat. We'll have to see how Bulat further decides to react to this, as the situation is slowly stabilizing for him. Hans pushing northwards as well there. Isshin 6 hiding in the stream. And he does end up sending his infantry on its own, despite theoretically, well, yeah, he quickly retreats when he realizes his mistake. There's actually still the T-34 about. Panther dealing with infantry up north. Bulat could of course go for another Panther now, try and push a bit harder back against Hans. I mean, he could save up for a Tiger tank, but I feel like that'd be a bit of a mistake, as it would concede a lot of opportunities to Hans, giving him more time to bounce back. Almost got the Indians up north. Betty 2-1 kill, but there you go, slowly being murdered out. Isshin 6 minutes taking 5 from the Panther on the 2-2, but nothing really serious to the assault gun. Infantry trying to cross the stream here, but they're taking care of fine. There you go, Isshin 6 moving up, gaining ace level there. Making any more for the Panther 4. There you go, almost pushing it down to half health in 2 shots. Very good there for Hans. Let's go for Bulat in the south. Another infantry push there is once more thwarted by the T-34s from 6. And now all of a sudden Bulat's front line is crumbling away. He's actually floating a lot of munitions, has not been laying down more mines, which I would argue is a big mistake. He is stalling now for the Tiger tank as well. Which I definitely feel like with some of the other things is a strategic error. I mean, it's not impossible for him to still win, but he's giving Hans a lot of rope to effectively hang him with. So really needs to be careful about that one. Got the 2-2 knocked out here by the HN6M. 6 in the southern point. Mines up, sandbags up. Going up there. Comes there being pursued, slowly murdered, almost got ace level in the punch gun. Can't go up on the northern point. Hans can soon go for more T-54s. In fact, he can go for that now. He would just churn out an endless number of them. Could also go for initiative 5. He's really worried about heavy armor. And certainly noting what Bulat so far is done and going for. He's probably starting to figure out his opponent is going for some sort of big heavy tank. Which is probably causing Hans to laugh a bit as to the foolishness of this. But of course, gives him more time to bring out counters to it. And in the meanwhile, push back Bulat. Because again, in the meanwhile, as he's setting up for that Tiger tank, he's basically just doing nothing with the resources. Which of course is going to be a lot of resources by the end of it. It's just going to give Hans more freedom to move across the battlefield and put pressure up on Bulat. T-54 moving up there. 4 kills. HD5 tank destroys. So Hans has, I think, seen through here Bulat. Again, he's very much expecting the Tiger tank at the moment. Of course, an HD5 to assist the HD6 in dealing with it is a very good call there. Oh, cancels it for T-34 and 6. Perhaps he just thinks he doesn't need it. I still think the HD5 would make a lot more sense here, but the T-34 isn't bad either, obviously. I mean, if he just has a lot of firepower and then flanks the Tiger tank, it could be in a lot of trouble. But we'll see, we'll see. Bulat is less than a minute away from the Tiger tank. Here with 328 infantry division. You got mines up there, very good. Meanwhile, Bulat is still flowing a lot of munitions. Again, not really a lot of mines. I think we basically got those mines there, and that's it. We have seen no additional tiller mines, I think, and no S mines either. So I feel like that's a bit of an oversight there by Bulat. Bit of an oversight. T-34 rolling out, and there goes second T-34 out. Gonna do some Northfoots. Slowly murdering the conscripts. Very close to that Tiger tank. Very close. There we go. Bob's your uncle. Charge here with the Panther backed up by infantry. Still not calling in that Tiger tank. HN6 and T-54 pretty much stops the rest of the assault there from Bulat. Dead in its tracks as the Pioneers routed. And there go. At the 28-minute mark, Bulat calls in the Tiger tank to go back against Hans. Charging forward here through the terrain. Straight for the T-34 and 6 landing good hit there, piercing the side armor. T-34 gets to fall back down to half health as the Tiger tank continues the pursuit, violently trashing through the trees. Almost got the T-34 and 6 there. Getting a bit more cautious with the infantry streaming at it. Worth noting it was only a bluff as Hans immediately retreats to the conscripts knowing they can't do anything there, but he might have been worried that of course something else coming. We got there close air support called in. He obviously wants the T-34 and 6 dead, but obviously without line of sight it's not going to matter much. And lastly, we kind of hit the problem here again. Like a lot of people forget, you need to be able to see the target even briefly for the ability to matter, otherwise you're just doing nothing. Now he's charging in the Panther onto the base here to achieve that. The problem is by now the tank is already gone, so I mean, still close air support ability is one of those can be really annoying, but it's also one of those can just end up completely whiffing on. So then we got the HN6 almost getting hit. They're almost taken out, but still managed to get away mostly unscathed. So that ended up just by being 200 munitions down the drain there for Bulat effectively. Or maybe just 185. I mean, again, did do some damage to the HN6, but without a total kill, I don't think it's going to matter too much in the longer run. So that was a pretty unfortunate call. They got targeting straight for the T-34, 6 good hit there. More infantry streaming in there from Helping Hands and the Red Army. Ground the centre victor point, they got 183 versus 227. Hands now in the lead here over Bulat. The Bulat, of course, is quick to try and regain control. To regain momentum. And we got more Panzer Grenadiers out there for Bulat at this point. Need to fix up that Panzer IV, of course. Got the HelpingHans tank destroyer out there for Hans. Mission 6 there. In need of repair. Stop the still grenadiers as a constant in the south. Negative cover. And they should be able to get at least one kill there. Tiger tank setting up, but on its own again. Like, Bulat seems to be swinging towards either recklessly aggressive or overly cautious. Actually, I'll just sense his tanks in swinging in all on their own. He'd just be using them like very defensive alongside his machine gun. Sneak up the T-54 there. Hans boldly raiding with his T-54. Let's go straight for the gun, but to the fuel point. He might even hope to bait in the Tiger tank there, knowing again how Bulat plays with it. He might be able to do so, I think. H-5 almost done here for Helping Hands. There we go, tank destroyer up to challenge the fascist armoured might. Comes where's the MG42, slowly being hosed down there. Panther almost good to go as well. And there you go, direct hit from the Tiger tank on the T-54 T-54 meanwhile bounces off the Tiger's 100mm thick frontal armour. H-6 moving out. Got tracking there as well to a spot for, and also lasted the spot for the H-5, though he's popping focus out there. Good Tiger tank taking a lot of hits there from the H-5 and the H-6M. Fun fact, the H-6M and the T-54 use the exact same gun. North they've got the Panther IV versus the conscripts. Slowly hosing them down. Panthers there pushing against the infantry, hoping to get some mark. Need to be careful all the T-54s around as they can quickly do some heavy damage there to Bulat's infantry. You should, I think, go for a Stuart here. To provide some fire support for his armour and infantry that is a bit more mobile than the Pack 40, which he's trying to keep pace here with the rest of everything's going on. Panther fast near 6 doing some nice damage, but he's going for the Pack 40 instead. Tiger tank's load being repaired. He's got both Pioneer squads with minesweepers, though only one back at base. Panther 4 moving ahead. We got another Stuart close air support ready here for Bulat. Will this one be a bit better set up here? There's Helping Hands. Could it risk being another whiff? T-54 back up with H-5 moving forward, straight into the Pack 40 here, waiting ready to, well, not quite ready. Panther 4 eventually 2, but also half health. As it would take then only 2 more shots to take it out, and there you go, down to just 1 more shot. Of course, the infantry pretty much removes any support from the Pack 40 as the Panther 4 withdraws from the fighting. Back here, troops reinforcing. Finding it's only getting more intense, but Bulat, again, with that Tiger tank, really conceded a lot of just room to Helping Hands and strategically. And Helping Hands is very much just taking advantage of that fully. You got 176 versus 153. Troops setting out, Tiger tank setting out there with infantry and anti-tank and support. I mean, he were to pull off a pincer maneuver with then calling in Stuart close air support, he might be able to deliver a, I think, sufficiently brutal blow there to Helping Hands centre. But the question is, does Bulat sort of have the perspective for that one? Meanwhile, though, Helping Hands is making a big swift push into the north there, as Bulat, of course, has conceded ground there to make for the southern push. Good really there in the situation for Helping Hands. Tiger tank moves ahead, but it's taking a lot of fire there from Helping Hands as it tanks and anti-tank guns and tank destroyers, pushing back the unfortunate Tiger crew. Pioneer split up. T-54, they're good to go. They got 162 versus 153. Also lost that Panzer Grenadier squad. In fact, Bulat is starting to get shot infantry. He's not focused on used relief infantry to help compensate for some of these losses. That could be an idea there, by the way. So he's finally going for the Stuke 3G, but that one definitely feels a bit late to the party. It could have been out much sooner to put pressure on the Helping Hands, perhaps to help push the fight to finish sooner. Titan getting pushed back by the advancing conscripts, backed up by the Disco Heavy machine gun. T-54 flanking, landing a nice hit, gaining veteran in the process, and there you go, damaged engine on the Tiger tank. Hans could in theory try for rush in to destroy it with the assault gun and tank destroyer, but with the Pack 40 still nearby, that would be, I think, a bit reckless and rash, but At least gave an attempt. There you go, Panther forming up, but of course, a lot of conscripts blocking away, and of course, the threat of the tank destroyer prevents the Panther from using just charging in. There you go, easy hit there. Stuk 3G finally out for Bulat. And also as well has final upgrade modes reserves. Almost got the assault gun there. Almost, but it does escape once more. Close one there for Bulat, but sadly not enough. Up north here, Panthers are pinned down to the ground by the disco heavy machine gun, unable to pass through the volume of bullets being unleashed. Pack 40 crew wiped out, and oh, he pushed the Stuk too far. Getting flanked with the T-54-6. In this case, the Tiger was there to assist, but even then, that could have been executed, I think, with a bit more grace. 98 versus 153. The situation is steadily turning against Bulat. He's now launching another assault here, trying to get that Pack 40 out of HelpingHans' hands. Might be the best time to try and call in the Stuk close air support here to maybe deliver a sufficient amount of support for his advancing armor. Stuk hitting a 9 damage engine. HE5 almost down. Got it. No Stuk close air support though. He's about to lose the... Call it in, Bulat. Now's the time, man. You're being surrounded. And now when he could actually do with the Stuk close air support, he doesn't call it in. He's down to 71 though versus Hans 153. There you go. He finally calls it in, but honestly by now it feels too late. It feels too late, and Hans is quickly splitting up, meaning it's just another wasted 200 munitions. Like there's a chance taking out the T-34. Maybe he actually gets it. Nope. Oh, he does get it. He does get it, so I guess not this time, not a complete waste. But the problem is, he's now rushing after the tank. His infantry's back in the base, and he barely has anything. Again, no say relief infantry push him up with some cheap Ostrom to grab points, so he's barely got anything to grab them with. Meanwhile, Hans still has most of the infantry intact. So he's quickly beating out victory points. He got the T-34-6. But the thing is, the Tiger and the Panther can really grab points, so the situation for Bulat here is very hairy. And there you go, the Panther 4 explodes, combusts upon contact with an anti-tank grenade. And he still forgot about the disc up north. It's going to need something to clear out. Now the Panther 4 there for Bulat. And we got tactical movement here from Bulat. A desperate attempt to get his troops out in the field faster. Of course, the question is, what troops? Like, he's barely got anything. He really should have gone for relief infantry at some point. I think they've done him a lot of good. Even though, again, like, they wouldn't be able to do much in terms of actual fighting. They'd at least have to maybe, grab some points and some anti-tank and string up Panther when you see the actual fighting and such. More crucial times. 30 versus 153. No, they should find out there for HelpingHans and the Red Army. Panzer Grenadiers moving in there, backed up with the Tiger tank. Ace level Panzer Grenadier with G43s. Conform is taken out. 25 points left for Bulat. Hans's HE6 there repaired. HE5 also good to go. Could spell a lot of trouble here for the Tiger tank. And there you go, he's just charging in there with the HE6, making use of train again to sort of keep it at a reasonably safe distance, so the Tiger tank's BT2 bonus makes it a bit harder. So it does gain a slight bit of extra accuracy, or range, but also accuracy. And there you go, Tiger tank being pursued here, making use of focus sight. Almost got the Tiger tank, and we got tactical movement again. Tiger tank's about to get knocked out, and there you go, Tiger is down, abandoned, but that doesn't matter. Hans can easily destroy it. And with that, I think Bulat's chances are very much sealed. He's barely got anything left compared with HelpingHans. He's barely got any victory points. And there you go. GG, game over. Victory for HelpingHans. A loss for Bulat and the German army. A vicious fight here. With Bulat initially doing well, but again, I feel like he sort of made some mistakes with the early Austrians. Of course, can be just thrown away, but also very crucially, he really shouldn't have gone for the Tiger the way he did. Like, he just conceded too much ground and momentum to Hans, allowing Hans to sort of bounce back. And by the time the Tiger was out, things weren't looking as good. And I also think like a mulch been a great investment here on this map in particular versus HelpingHans. So there's also some things that Bulat in that way could improve upon. Hans, this game certainly suffered a bit, but he's able to turn around nicely and punish Bulat for all the mistakes he's made. Overall, building towards a successful ending there for the match in his favour. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. Hope you learned something from it. If you did, subscribe, like, share, comment, and remember to press the bell button. You do. This is Imperial Links and cheers. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you all tomorrow again for a nice episode. Bye.